On June 28, 1914, history pivoted on a single moment, a seemingly insignificant wrong turn. Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria and his wife Sophie were navigating the streets of Sarajevo when fate intervened. A failed assassination attempt earlier that day had left them unharmed, but destiny had other plans. As their driver took a wrong turn onto a street where Gavrilo Princip, a young nationalist, happened to be standing, the world changed forever. In a split second, Princip fired 2 shots, striking the Archduke and his wife. This tragic event ignited a chain reaction, plunging Europe into chaos and setting the stage for World War I. The irony of that wrong turn highlights how a single decision can alter the course of history. In the blink of an eye, a local incident transformed into a global conflict, forever marking June 28th as a date of profound consequence. In the early 20th century, Europe was a powder keg, with complex alliances forming a web of obligations and expectations. Major powers like Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy formed the Triple Alliance, while France, Russia, and Britain countered with the Triple Entente. These treaties were meant to deter conflict, but instead they created an environment ripe for war. When Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated, these alliances rapidly transformed a regional crisis into a continental catastrophe. Nations were bound by treaties to defend one another, leading to a domino effect of mobilizations. Austria-Hungary's declaration of war on Serbia prompted Russia to mobilize in defense of its Slavic ally. Germany, in turn, declared war on Russia and France, drawing in Britain as well. What began as a localized conflict quickly spiraled into a full-scale war, illustrating how entangled alliances can escalate tensions and ignite global conflict. As the war raged on, soldiers found themselves entrenched in a nightmarish reality. Life in the trenches was a brutal existence, marked by mud, filth, and the constant threat of enemy fire. Soldiers endured freezing temperatures, often soaked to the bone, as rainwater pooled in the trenches, creating a breeding ground for disease. The stench of decay and waste hung heavy in the air, a grim reminder of the toll war exacted on both body and spirit. Rations were meagre, and hunger gnawed at their resolve, while the incessant sound of artillery fire shattered any semblance of peace. Sleep came in fits, interrupted by the fear of sudden attacks. The psychological toll was immense, as many soldiers grappled with the horrors they witnessed, leading to what would later be known as shell shock. In this hellish landscape, camaraderie became their only solace, a fragile bond forged in the crucible of suffering. The Western Front became a harrowing symbol of the Great War's brutality, where entire towns of young men were obliterated in a single day. The battles of the Somme and Verdun saw staggering losses, with thousands falling to enemy fire, leaving communities shattered and families devastated. This relentless stalemate not only claimed lives, but also inflicted profound psychological scars on the soldiers. Trapped in muddy trenches, they faced constant shelling, disease, and the haunting spectre of death. Many soldiers grappled with what would later be recognized as shell shock, a condition that left them emotionally and mentally shattered. The camaraderie forged in these dire conditions often turned into a desperate struggle for survival. The weight of witnessing friends perish and the relentless nature of warfare took a toll that would echo long after the guns fell silent. The Western Front was not just a battlefield, it was a crucible of human suffering and resilience. As the war raged on, the Eastern Front became a critical theatre, profoundly influenced by the Russian Revolution of 1917. This upheaval not only transformed Russia's political landscape, but also shifted the dynamics of World War I. The Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin, sought to withdraw from the conflict, prioritizing internal stability over foreign battles. This decision allowed Germany to concentrate its forces on the Western Front, intensifying the already brutal stalemate there. The collapse of the Eastern Front also led to the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk in March 1918, which granted Germany significant territorial gains. However, this newfound advantage came at a cost, as the withdrawal of Russian troops created a power vacuum. The revolution inspired other nations and movements, altering the course of history. The Eastern Front's impact on the war was profound, reshaping alliances and setting the stage for future conflicts. The Gallipoli campaign, launched in April 1915, aimed to secure a sea route to Russia and knock the Ottoman Empire out of the war. However, it quickly became a strategic failure marked by poor planning and execution. Allied forces underestimated the fierce resistance from Turkish troops, leading to a protracted stalemate. The campaign turned into a grueling battle of attrition, with soldiers facing harsh conditions, disease, and inadequate supplies. Over the course of 8 months, the Allies suffered approximately 250,000 casualties, while Turkish losses were similarly devastating. The human cost was staggering, with thousands of lives lost in futile assaults on well-fortified positions. Ultimately, the campaign ended in withdrawal, leaving a legacy of sorrow and disillusionment. The Gallipoli campaign serves as a poignant reminder of the tragic consequences of military miscalculations and the profound impact of war on humanity. The battles of the Somme and Verdun stand as haunting symbols of the brutality of World War I. The Battle of Verdun, fought in 1916, became a grueling test of endurance, with French forces determined to hold their ground against relentless German assaults. Over 10 months, nearly 1 million soldiers were killed or wounded, embodying the sheer horror of trench warfare. Meanwhile, the Battle of the Somme, also in 1916, aimed to relieve pressure on Verdun. On the first day alone, British forces suffered approximately 60,000 casualties, a staggering loss that shocked the nation. By the battle's end, more than 1 million men had fallen. These battles illustrated not only the staggering human cost, but also the futility of war, as generals continued to employ outdated tactics against fortified positions. The legacy of these battles serves as a chilling reminder of the devastating impact of warfare on humanity. The introduction of U-boat warfare by Germany marked a significant shift in naval combat during World War I. On May 7, 1915, the British ocean liner Lusitania was torpedoed off the coast of Ireland, resulting in the tragic loss of 1,198 lives, including 128 Americans. This incident ignited a public outcry across the United States and Europe, as many viewed it as an attack on innocent civilians. The sinking of the Lusitania was not just a maritime disaster, it became a pivotal moment that swayed public opinion against Germany. In the aftermath, the US government faced immense pressure to respond, leading to heightened tensions between the United States and Germany. The shocking statistics of casualties fueled anti-German sentiment and played a crucial role in drawing the United States closer to entering the war, altering the course of history in profound ways. The Zimmermann telegram was a secret communication sent by Germany to Mexico in January 1917, proposing a military alliance against the United States. This telegram promised Mexico the territories of Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona if they joined the war on Germany's side. When British intelligence intercepted and decoded the message, its release to the American public caused outrage. The significance of the Zimmermann telegram cannot be overstated. It shifted American public opinion dramatically against Germany. Prior to this, many Americans were divided on joining the conflict, but the idea of a foreign power encouraging an attack on US soil united them. The telegram was a catalyst that propelled the United States into World War I, marking a pivotal moment in the war. On April 6, 1917, the US officially declared war on Germany, bringing fresh resources and troops to the beleaguered Allies. The United States entered the war in April 1917, bringing a surge of fresh energy and new perspectives to the battlefield. American soldiers, known as doughboys, arrived with enthusiasm and a sense of purpose, eager to support their allies and fight against tyranny. Their arrival marked a turning point in the conflict, as the weary European forces faced relentless attrition and despair. The Americans brought not only manpower, but also innovative strategies and a spirit of optimism that reinvigorated the Allied forces. The infusion of fresh troops and resources helped to shift the momentum of the war. The American Expeditionary Forces, under General John J. Pershing, quickly adapted to the harsh realities of combat, showcasing their resilience and determination. The unique American spirit and ideals of freedom and democracy resonated deeply, inspiring troops and civilians alike, ultimately playing a crucial role in the eventual defeat of the Central Powers. As the war dragged on, desperation set in for the Central Powers. In March 1918, Germany launched its final offensive, a last-ditch effort to secure a victory before American troops could fully arrive. The initial success was chaotic, with troops advancing rapidly, but the momentum soon faltered. Supply lines stretched thin, and morale plummeted as soldiers faced overwhelming fatigue and dwindling resources. The Allies, bolstered by fresh American forces, mounted a fierce counter-offensive. The once feared German army, now plagued by disarray and disillusionment, began to crumble. In the final days, soldiers faced not just the enemy, but also the harsh reality of defeat. As cities fell and chaos reigned, the hope of a German victory faded. By November 11, 1918, the Central Powers surrendered, marking the end of a devastating conflict that left Europe in ruins and millions in despair. As the dust settled after the Great War, the Treaty of Versailles emerged in 1919, imposing severe repercussions on Germany. The treaty demanded that Germany accept full responsibility for the war, a clause known as the War Guilt Clause. Additionally, Germany was forced to pay exorbitant reparations, which crippled its economy. The loss of territory, including Alsace-Lorraine to France and significant land to Poland, further humiliated the nation. These harsh terms fostered deep resentment among Germans, creating fertile ground for extremist ideologies to take root. The treaty not only destabilized Germany but also left a scar across Europe. Nationalistic fervor surged, and many felt betrayed by their leaders. The repercussions of the Treaty of Versailles would echo through the decades, sowing the seeds for future conflict. The unresolved grievances and economic turmoil would ultimately contribute to the rise of World War II, reshaping the global landscape forever. The First World War resulted in a staggering loss of life, with over 16 million deaths. This shocking statistic encapsulates the profound human suffering experienced across the globe. Families were torn apart, communities devastated, and entire generations lost to the horrors of conflict. The war not only claimed soldiers on the battlefield, but also affected civilians, leading to widespread famine, disease, and displacement. Each number represents a life filled with dreams, aspirations, and loved ones. The psychological scars left on survivors were equally devastating, as many returned home haunted by memories of violence and loss. This immense toll serves as a grim reminder of the consequences of political decisions and the fragility of peace. The war's legacy is not merely one of military strategy and territorial disputes, but rather a profound human tragedy that reshaped nations and left an indelible mark on history. Amidst the chaos of World War I, an extraordinary event unfolded during Christmas of 1914. Known as the Christmas Truce, soldiers from opposing sides laid down their weapons to share moments of humanity. This remarkable ceasefire began on Christmas Eve, when British and German troops emerged from their trenches, exchanging greetings and singing carols. They ventured into no man's land, where they shared food, exchanged gifts, and even played football together. This spontaneous act of camaraderie highlighted the shared humanity between enemies, momentarily overshadowing the horrors of war. The truce was not officially sanctioned, yet it resonated deeply with the soldiers, reminding them of their lives before the conflict. While the war raged on, this brief interlude of peace served as a powerful testament to the human spirit, illustrating that even in the darkest times, compassion and connection can prevail, if only for a fleeting moment. Among the many unsung heroes of World War I, Sergeant Stubby, a stray dog, emerged as a symbol of loyalty and bravery. Found wandering the streets of New Haven, Connecticut, Stubby was adopted by a soldier named Robert Conroy, who took him to the front lines. Stubby quickly became a beloved mascot for the troops, but his role transcended mere companionship. He participated in battles, alerting soldiers to incoming artillery fire and even locating wounded comrades on the battlefield. His keen instincts saved countless lives. Stubby also famously captured a German soldier, earning him a promotion to sergeant. His remarkable actions not only showcased the unexpected roles animals played in war, but also highlighted the deep bond between humans and their four-legged companions. After the war, Stubby returned home as a hero, reminding us that courage comes in many forms, and sometimes it wears fur and four paws. In the chaos of World War I, communication was a lifeline for soldiers trapped in perilous situations. One remarkable example is Cher Ami, a brave carrier pigeon who played a pivotal role during the Meuse-Argonne offensive. Amidst heavy artillery fire, a battalion found itself surrounded and cut off from reinforcements. With their situation becoming increasingly dire, they relied on Cher Ami to deliver a critical message for help. Against all odds, she flew through enemy fire, successfully reaching headquarters despite being injured. Her message led to the rescue of nearly 200 soldiers, showcasing the ingenuity of communication during combat. Cher Ami's courage and determination exemplified how animals contributed to the war effort, often in ways that saved lives. This remarkable story highlights the vital role of carrier pigeons, whose unwavering loyalty and ability to navigate perilous conditions made them invaluable assets on the battlefield. As the war raged on, a new and thrilling dimension emerged in the skies above the battlefields. Enter the legendary Red Baron, whose real name was Manfred von Richthofen. With his bright red aircraft, he became a symbol of aerial prowess and daring. The excitement of dogfights captivated both soldiers and civilians alike, as brave pilots engaged in deadly duels high above the chaos below. These early air combat encounters were filled with danger, requiring exceptional skill and nerves of steel. The thrill of soaring through the clouds, engaging in maneuvers to outsmart enemy pilots, created a sense of heroism. However, the reality was grim, with many pilots meeting their fate in fiery crashes. The Red Baron, with his impressive record of victories, became a legend, embodying the spirit of innovation and bravery that defined this new era of warfare, forever changing the landscape of combat. The Harlem Hellfighters, officially known as the 369th Infantry Regiment, emerged as one of the most decorated units in World War I. Composed primarily of African-American soldiers, they faced not only the enemy on the battlefield, but also the pervasive racism of their time. Despite the discrimination they encountered, the Hellfighters demonstrated extraordinary bravery and resilience. They fought valiantly in France, spending more time in combat than any other American unit and earning the respect of their allies. Their contributions were significant, with many receiving prestigious awards, including the French Croix de Guerre. However, upon returning home, they were met with the same racial prejudice that had persisted before the war. The legacy of the Harlem Hellfighters serves as a powerful reminder of both their heroism and the ongoing struggle for racial equality in America, highlighting the complexities of bravery amidst societal challenges. In the trenches, soldiers faced a nightmare of mud, filth, and despair. Mustard gas, a silent killer, crept through the air, burning skin and blinding eyes, leaving victims gasping for breath. The haunting cries of men suffering from shell shock echoed through the darkness, their minds shattered by the relentless bombardment. Each explosion was not just a sound, it marked the end of innocence for countless young men. The conditions were grim, with rats scurrying amidst the bodies and disease lurking in every corner. Soldiers lived in constant fear, their spirits eroded by the unending violence and loss. The psychological scars of war ran deep, often invisible yet profoundly impactful. Many returned home, haunted by memories and unable to reintegrate into civilian life. The horrors of mustard gas and the trauma of shell shock left indelible marks, shaping a generation and reminding us of the true cost of conflict. The aftermath of World War I left profound scars on the global landscape, with unresolved tensions simmering beneath the surface. The Treaty of Versailles, rather than fostering peace, imposed punitive measures on Germany, breeding resentment and economic hardship. This discontent fueled extremist ideologies, paving the way for the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. The failure to address the root causes of the conflict created a volatile environment that ultimately ignited World War II. As nations struggled to rebuild, the lessons of the past were overshadowed by the urgency of the present. The legacy of World War I is not merely a chapter in history. It serves as a stark reminder of how unresolved grievances can spiral into further conflict. Today, the echoes of these wars resonate, urging us to reflect on the importance of diplomacy and understanding in preventing future tragedies. The past continues to shape our modern world in profound ways.